Wasted in a wasteland in a desert sea. I can see the clouds in the wasteland covering me. I gotta tell you, and be honest for a minute or two, I love Fallout. There's no other RPG game in the entire world that I love more than good old Fallout. Fallout 3, masterpiece. Fallout New Vegas, the masterpiece. Not just a, because you see, if I say that Fallout New Vegas is just a masterpiece, man, would I be giving it an undershoot. And you know what I love about Fallout New Vegas? I actually really do like the whole creating your own settlements and making sure everyone's happy and good. It's fun. I like it. It's like I'm playing fucking Minecraft. I can build things, build settlements, and I love the Minutemen because you can make them freaking dude, you can make them strong, dude. That's what I love about the Minutemen is that the Minutemen are as strong as you make them. They're only gonna be super weak if you make them super weak. You know what I mean? Oh, I need to send someone on supply lines, dude. Well, there shouldn't be a lack of supply lines because we should have connected to everything. Let me see. Who can I send to supply? So yeah, that's the thing. Well, here I can command you. Oh, they can't be moved. Okay, so that's what I need to do. I want to send someone over here, and I want to have it to where I have to. I used to have a huge, big, open thing, everything built. It was so cool. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Is I'm gonna go to another one of my supply lines. This is me, dude. I look pretty fucking cool. I'm the general of the motherfucking Minutemen, dude. And it's so cool because my real name is Nate, and in the game, your character's name is meant to be fucking Nate, dude. And so if you choose to name Nate, people will call you like Codsworth calls you in game Mr. Nate. People will call you by your first name in the game, and it's crazy because if you have any other name or alias, they don't fucking do that. But like I was saying, Fallout 3, masterpiece. Fallout New Vegas, the masterpiece. You want to know why Fallout New Vegas is the masterpiece? Because Fallout New Vegas was the first game that I ever, not the first game, I'm sorry, the first RPG game that I ever really played and really got into. Dude, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I had no clue about the Legion and the NCR and all the complicated all the complicated politics, you know. It was crazy, crazy. I really had no clue who the Legion was, what the NCR was, and I think that the thing that I love about Fallout New Vegas is that what I've noticed is every time I play it, I get more mature, I'm more older, I'm wiser, I think differently. And so my playthroughs are always different, you know? Like I've done a playthrough where I'm always and you know what I did a playthrough with the NCR. I thought that the NCR was the best thing of what old America was, and it was going to control America back. I'm sorry, get America back to how it used to be. For lack of better words, make America great again. But you know what I realized when I got older is that the NCR is just the exact same thing of what ruined America, what killed America, was bureaucracies and autocracies and people no longer working for the best interest of man. They're only now, oh, I'm getting really radiated. They're only now working for the best interest. Who's
Hey
this?
there.
I can patch you up if you need it. For a small fee, of course.
Yeah, I could use a fucking Radex shot. Cure my rats. I need a shot.
I think it's radiation.
Blood pooling in the gums.
Right.
Ouch.
Done. Now, was there anything else bothering you?
No.
I'm pretty beat up.
Scrapes and bruises.
Might as well, you know, I have the caps.
And that's that. Anything else?
It's part of the RPG experience, you know what I mean? So yeah. What's the one that's an explosion? Oh, this one's awesome, bro. It's a fucking explosion. And so what I was saying is that I've done a playthrough where I'm with the Legion. I'm just so angry, and at that point in my life, dude, I was so angry and hateful. So you know what I did? I fucking enslaved everyone as much as I could and burned the whole world down. You know? And I thought the Legion was fucking cool. They're like the Romans, but Caesar's a smart guy, but he doesn't see. That's the thing about the Legion. The Legion dies with Caesar, with Caesar, and he is a Machiavellian without a shadow of a doubt. But he's also just so angry and hateful towards a lot of the things that happen to him. But he does have mercy, because he does talk a lot of shit about the followers of the apocalypse, but he respects them because he was one of them, and he knows that they're genuinely good. And so, if you are with the Legion, he always spares the follower of his apocalypse. He does not enslave the women. He lets them do whatever they keep doing, and he actually protects them, you know? Oh, it's coming at me, dude. And that's what I like about Caesar, is that he's always going to respect the people who are doing good. The people he has, you know, he has honor. Oh shit, there's another one. Boom. But the thing about the Legion is it's so flawed because it dies with him. And the NCR might be temporarily what's best for the Mojave, but how long was America in its peak years for? 200 years? Spain was in its peak years for what, 300 something years? The NCR will fall. Okay, the NCR will crumble and will fall, and it's gonna crumble and fall the exact same way that it originally crumbled and fell, that America crumbled and fell. The exact same way. And so, I think who the best option is, yes, man, you can play a narcissist and fucking run the world yourself, but the thing about my opinion of who the best choice is it's Mr. House. Because Mr. House is a Machiavellian, but he wants to build the wasteland, he wants to control the wasteland he's also an egalitarian, or a utilitarian, I'm sorry, I don't remember the scientific terms, but the utilitarian wants to utilize the resources for the longest amount of time for the good of humanity, for the greater good. And Mr. House does that not for the greater good of humanity, but for the greater good of the Mojave Wasteland and its inhabitants, right? He understands that the greater good of humanity, all of humanity might not be able to benefit right here and now, but he can benefit the New Vegas Strip here and now because he wants to send people to space. He wants to reconquest, and Mr. House cannot be manipulated, okay? He's been alive for hundreds of years. His heart has not changed. He's a smart guy. He doesn't care about power. He reminds me of a lot of Julius Gaius Octavius Caesar. He didn't care about power. He cared about just being the motherfucking man and being in charge. So yes, House does want power. He does love power. But not because he wants to rule people and dictate people's lives. He does it because he wants to see a safer new wasteland, but he wants to be at the top. But he doesn't want to answer to a board of directors. That's why he has to be the sole survivor, the sole guy in control. Because if he's answering to a board of directors in a bureaucracy, then nothing's going to get done. Which is why he has to be a dictator, you know? He's a dictator because for hundreds of thousands of years, this is what we have to understand, is that the term dictator has such a nasty and negative connotation to it, okay? But that's just because we're living in the age of democracy. And I think that we're on the crisp end of democracy. We've already seen, that's the thing, man. Political systems have not been democratically as they are now for how long they've been this way already, you know? It's just not a fucking thing. It's just not a fucking thing. I'm sorry. But look into history. Oh shit. I gotta get away from the grenade. How long did we have the king and the queen for? The emperors. Hundreds of thousands, not hundreds, but thousands and thousands of years. We've had that for thousands of years. Oh man, I thought this was my machine gun, but where's my fucking machine gun? Alright, I'll go in with the combat shotgun. That's cool too. I got any grenades? That's what we have to remember. For thousands and thousands of years, man, this is what we had. And so what did we have? We had kings, we had queens, but we also had really good kings and really good kings. A dictator does not necessarily mean it's a bad thing, right? Look at the legendary king of Spain, Carlos V, Charles V. He was also the Holy Roman Emperor. He was the king of Germany, the king of France, and he was a great fucking guy. And another king of Spain. Well, not the king of Spain. He was the king. It was the king of 1200, and Spain wasn't officially Spain yet. You know, we're just talking about the Iberian Peninsula inhabitants. But one of its kings, Alfonso X, also known as Alfonso the Wise, he created the first thing of Rome. He used Roman law and common law and civil law, but he created civil law. He created one of the most legendary and influential laws codex system of all time, called the Siete Partidas, 7 laws. Siete Partidas is 7 laws. And above else, he made a law that the king by law had to become wise and strong for the greater good of the people. How long did Spain and the Iberian Peninsula have a king for? More than 800 fucking years. And even then, you had Francisco Franco as the dictator, the military dictator, but he could, in his own light line, what's the difference of him between a king and a king? Well, he's not a king by blood. He's a king by name, by dictator, the ruler. Right? General Francisco Franco. The Spaniards still talk about goodness of Francisco Franco. The West will say Francisco Franco was an evil dictator. Yeah. What is one thing he did that was evil? He did not. Dude, and that's the thing too, is Mussolini and Hitler fucking loved this guy because they wanted Francisco Franco to fight with them. So they sent him forces during the Spanish Civil War in hopes of being under his good grace and them fighting the Spaniards fighting. Dude, Spain did not fight with the Axis during World War II. They had morally and at times fiscally supported the Axis powers, but never did Spain ever fucking go and fight in World War II. And now imagine if the Spaniards fought with the Axis powers in World War II, dude, they would have been the bad guys, quote unquote. The bad guys, quote unquote. You know what I mean? But they didn't, because Francisco Franco was smart. Francisco Franco didn't get their guys pulled up in this conflict, because why would they need to get pulled up in the conflict? They would have gotten fucked. They were in support of them, so if the Axis did win, then they would be in their good grace. But still, if the Axis did lose, then nothing would have happened. And guess what? The Axis lost and nothing fucking happened. And so I think that a dictator per se isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just depends on who is your dictator. Read The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli teaches you how to be a good ruler, how to protect yourself, protect your people. And that's the thing about Machiavellianism, is that there's a negative connotation about it. Oh my gosh, Machiavellians are manipulators and whatever. Dude, Machiavellians just want to fucking win. But if a Machiavellian can be good, they will always be good. Because Machiavelli even writes that it's better to be virtuous. Because if you're a virtuous leader, your men will follow you into hell, but only because you're going to be leading in the front lines, right? That's why a leader has to rule from the front, you know, and virtue. You gotta be a man of fucking virtue. And so then the other thing is that that's the thing about Machiavelli. Machiavelli in The Prince, 1542, he always continuously writes how imperative it is for a ruler to be good. He writes that when a new change of administration, for lack of better words, nobility, kings and queens and rulers is, the people simply want to not be oppressed. The Machiavelli in The Prince writes, if you're a prince and you're a ruler, do not take people's houses if you don't have to. And he also says, never take the people's women. Because frequently a king would see this is a beautiful woman and the kids, I'm going to steal them. But that makes the people hate them. So Machiavelli writes, do not ever steal their women. Do not ever steal their people if you don't have to. And 9 times out of 10 he says you don't have to. So this is the thing that Machiavelli writes about. Machiavelli in The Prince writes about being virtuous and being good. But people on TikTok are like, oh my gosh, you're a manipulator. And Machiavelli was so wise, right? He writes about this in The Prince. He goes, the prince must know how to use both natures, and that one without the other is not durable. A prince, being thus obliged to know well how to act as a beast, must imitate the fox and the lion. For the lion cannot protect himself from snares, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. So therefore, one must be a fox to recognize snares, and a lion to frighten wolves. Those that wish to be only lions do not understand that. Therefore, a prudent ruler ought not to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interest, and when the reasons which made him bind himself no longer exist. If men were all good, this precept would not be a good one. But as they are bad, and would not observe their faith with you, so you are not bound to keep faith with them. Nor are legitimate grounds ever wanting a prince to give color to non-legitimate. Right? So how laudable is it for a prince to keep good faith and live with integrity, and not with obstinance? Everyone knows. Still, the experience of our time shows that those princes who have done great things would have had little regard for good faith, and have been able by ostentation to confuse men's brains, and who have ultimately overcame those who have made loyalty their foundation. You must know that then there are two methods of fighting, the one by law and the other by force. The first method is that of men. The second method is that of beasts. But as the first method is often insufficient, one must have recourse to the second. It is therefore necessary to know well how to use both the beast and the man. This was covertly taught to princes by ancient writers, who relate how Achilles and many others of those princes were given to Sheraton, the sentry, to be brought up, who kept them under his discipline. This system of having for teacher one who was half beast and half man is meant to indicate that a prince must know how to use both natures, that one without the other is not durable. A prince, being obliged to know well how to act as a beast, must imitate the fox and the lion, for the lion cannot protect himself from snares, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize snares, and a lion to frighten the wolves. Those that wish to be only lions do not understand this. So this is what Machiavelli writes about, right? And, it says this too, is one, however, who becomes prince by favor of the populace must maintain its friendship, which he will find easy, the people asking nothing but to not be oppressed, right? And he says, those that are thus bound to you are not rapacious, and they must be honored and loved, right? So Machiavelli even writes, those who are bound to you, those who are your brothers and sisters and your family, and family is not just blood, but those who are your family and bound to you, he says you have to love them. You have to honor them. You have to protect them. Because that kind of love that they love you, that boundness of love, and they're not bound to you by force, but bound to you by causality and bound to you by will, and they choose to be bound to you. Dude, those are your brothers and your sisters and this is what Machiavelli writes about. But people are like, oh my gosh, Robert Greene, the 48 Laws of Power, and Machiavellians are just there to win, and yes, we're here to win. Oh shit, I just said we. Uh-oh. I'm not a Machiavellian, I swear. Anyways, they're like, oh my gosh, Machiavellians are such manipulators, and they're just there to win, and they're gonna hurt you, and they're always gonna hurt you when they can. No, dude, that's not a Machiavellian. That's your sick. This is your misunderstanding of what Machiavelli writes about. You've never written The Prince. You've never read The Prince. You've only ever just seen TikTok videos of what The Prince is, and so you think of Machiavellians as, oh my gosh, they're such manipulators. And here's the thing. Okay, are you not a manipulator? Do you not wear multiple masks when you're at work, when you're at school, when with your family, when it's showtime? So how are you going to say Machiavellians are manipulators when humankind in general is, it's just our nature to be fucking we always wear different masks, okay? So don't try and fucking think you're better than people. Oh my gosh, you're a manipulator. Dude, you fucking manipulate people all the goddamn time with that fake smile and this and that. So you want to tell me, oh my god, you're a hypocrite, bro. Don't be a fucking hypocrite. This is Machiavelli, baby. Anyways, that's enough for now.